This video is brought to you by TS4U IT Engineering Bootcamp.
Start with our test case template. So the first test case template that I'm going to write is for the e-commerce web application template. The description will be that this template will be viewed in adding the user story, precondition.
So the way this has been, the slide has been covered and it has been done. If you become a manual tester the same way, I can assure you 80%, over 80%, that you will become a very good QA and you'll be performing in your job very well. And if you speak the same way in the interview and to follow the best practices, even what I said organically, I actually answered like over 300 questions basically. I can ask those questions and in the interview to actually to validate your actual the skills and expertise. So
I have created one template for our web application, and now I'm creating another for our mobile application.
yeah.
Commerce.
So test case management or the test management tool. This is called the test management tools, where you actually for the all type of manual testing that you actually maintain from the test management tools. So these tools actually going to actually for not only one project, for each of the project it is actually helping. So the things you are doing, it is exclusively for this project. Okay, and this type of testing tool actually helps you to become organized, to track your testing, to see the test coverage, and to link your user story, your testing with the user story, or to link the test plan with a specific feature, and to link actually the different type of testing. So the example, you have done some integration testing and you can link with a feature. You have done some system testing, you can actually link with an epic. So many things you can do, but when you have actually this type of testing tool, none of this you can do with the Google Doc or Word Doc, Microsoft Documents or the Excel. And this is the reason company use the test management tools for each of the project to perform the testing. Okay, good.
Now let's move to the test plan. So I'm selecting the test plan, this one. I'm selecting this icon for the test plan, test suite, this icon, and test case, this icon. So all have been updated. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new test plan. So we're going to test the functional testing. So refer me. I'm assigning myself because there's no one other in this organization, I mean in this project. So I saved it, and clicking on my functional testing, I have to create the 3 dot. After clicking on the 3 dot, I'm going to create the new suite. And for the very basic, we are starting with the very basic stuff. So we will do the bias signing. This will be easy to understand for all of us. Bias signing, okay. Under bias signing, I'm creating 2 more suites, which is positive, and another one will be the negative one.
So you have to, under the bias sign in, you have to create the folder, means the positive, negative. Okay.
So in positive test case, I'm going to create my test case, the very new test case. So first, what I have to do to sign in our e-commerce site, I have to navigate that website. So my first test case is going to be buyer should be able to navigate the login page. This is very basic. And I'm signing myself. Okay. And I'm choosing the templates. I'm going to use the web application. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to write down my user story. As a buyer,
So eventually we'll be actually mapping the user story. The once we type the user story number, it will be popping up here. So we are going to add this functionality in this platform, and the user story will be popping up. We can actually, that will be helpful. So it will be fully automated. So then these test cases will be linked with the user story itself. Okay. So to work in the software development team, you need to know the good English. At the same time, you need to have a good communication skills. Communication skills, the combination of the writing and the speaking. Okay, so you need to know that, which is the fundamental in the United States. Yeah. Okay.
so now I'm writing the preconditions. So if I want to navigate the URL or the website, I must have the browser which is needed for this like testing. I must have that browser in my laptop, in my operating system. So browser should be installed in my laptop or in my PC.
So the Chrome, and then of course the browser can have a specific version, because if your
Yes.
application is not properly displaying in the specific version, and you have to actually declare it. Chrome browser 102, the Firefox 103. Whatever the version developer will tell you, it will be running. So now you can ask a question: how do you actually ensure that how many browser testing will be done? What type of things actually the I will be testing, right? This is a good question, right? Initially, when the software is being developed, you actually cover the basic, the most fundamental, the browsers and all the testing. But once the application goes live, now the monitoring come to the picture. From the operation monitoring, the team can see what browser actually the user are using. What is the browser version? What is the Windows version? Are they actually using from the desktop Windows, or they're actually using the mobile app browser? So those coming once the project goes live. That's how we actually define. In the project phase, you have to do all the best practices possible, because many people use the Chrome basically. So nowadays you use, but after go live, then you can get the help from the production, from the monitoring. And you always test in the staging environment. So who gives you the URL? DevOps engineers, because they deploy the code on the production, the each of the environment, development, testing, staging, and the production. And your scope of the testing is all in the staging environment or the test environment. This is the reason she has provided the staging environment. So this is the interface you're writing the test cases, right?
Yes.
Very
This is
important.
the
And then you can do multiple things. On this interface, you are going to improve. How improving? We can actually write the test case on the Excel, and we actually import here. So that the test case we don't need to do here. Another many things you can do to improve the interface. Okay. So this is the part, the test case writing for a new application is a core job of your responsibility, and you have to do it. Once you become, listen to this kind of it's all the interview question and answer. You have to listen carefully. And now you can ask, shit, this takes forever, right? Well, that's your job, right? Nothing to do. But there is some good news. Once your team your team lead, test lead, they're all comfortable, right? Then we decide, well, you just write some test cases, right? The details, okay? Then you just write the test case title. I don't need the steps, details steps. We only need the details steps when something is not working as expected. So those kind of decisions we make on the fly. Even here in TS4, we do not write the details test cases. What do we do? Well, you learn the application flow, and you actually perform the testing. Once you get the issues, then now actually, when you create a bug, you need to create the details steps. But the question is, this test case, details test case help. When and where? It helps when you need to plan for the automation, and it helps to the automation test engineer. They actually follow each of the steps to automate the process and write the automation testing. So this is important. Even though we ignore it, but it is important. So it's in the interface, you wrote the test cases, it's looking good. Save and close. You can
Yes,
add
I
the
already
reusable
saved it.
You can add the reusable steps here. You can add the
Yes.
parameters here. You can actually up and down the steps. All this from the left, like the right after the no actions. That menu.
From the okay, this one. Yes, I can like go insert it in the next row or
Right?
column, and everything can be done from here.
And you can attach something as well. Yeah. So this is
Yes.
important. These are the part of the test case, the testing tool functionality. So any of the testing tool, they do the same thing. And learning the tools is piece of cake. It's very easy. But the knowing the work is very like something you have to work in a project. You spend time and become the master of this. Then you will be actually the marketable to get a job. Okay, save and close. Very good.
Okay.
Can you add the
Now,
parameters here?
yes, we are going to add the parameters now. So, yes, those all are not needed. So, the parameters we are needed for this sign in, we will use it, the login parameters, which are email and password only.
Yes. So as mentioned, this parameter is completely different based on what you're trying to do. Okay, nothing you can memorize, right? I give the example vehicle testing parameter different. I give the mobile if you work in the Apple, you have to do the mobile testing, the actual device parameter is different. If you work in the Android, it's a different. If you work in the plane, parameter will be different. If you're testing the printer application, parameter will be different. If you test in this bottom, parameter will be different. So this is something, it's nothing you need to memorize. It's something you need to understand the requirements, understand the features, understand the application itself. Okay.
Now we are moving to our test configuration, and first we need to create the variables. So I'm creating the variable first for the web browser, and first variable we are going to create is operating system. And let's add a description here.
So it sounds like a little bit the tacky things, the variable. Yeah, you can say it's a tacky things we do in the programming world. We always use the variable. Variable is nothing but just storing some value. So you can use on the fly. Simple as this. And it is the core of any programming language. That's the reason we call it variable.
Okay, so
And you give the value of the variable. So you give the variable name, and now you are giving the value is Windows, the variable name. Now we are actually giving all the passing. Windows 10, Windows 11, wherever your users are going to use this application.
Mac, Linux,
So
many other can use.
good.
We need another variable, which is web browser. So the
now you see
browser,
the tester tests the application very in depth. That's the reason the many the developer has one of the problem with that in the QA and the developer, because developers say I'm done, right? But this QA guy, they just testing in every single scenario possible, every single device possible, every single version possible, and they create the bug. This guy developer at 4:30 p.m. he wants to go home. Shit, this guy just brought a bug, and many times the developer doesn't like the QA because this QA just find a lot of bug. Anything you see, you can define the bug or whatever. Anything visually or the things is not working, you have to report it and it has to be fixed. That's the reason QA is very one of the powerful position in any application development. Because
okay.
QA,
We have already created the variables. Now what we're going to do, we are going to create the configuration. And for we are going to create web app configuration. And adding. So first, I'm going to select the operating system, and as I'm using Windows 10, so I'm selecting the Windows 10, and you guys can select whatever your operating system you are using right now. And web browser, you can see I'm using the Chrome browser, so I'm selecting the Chrome one, and now I'm going to save it.
and then we could have done like the mobile browser testing as well, right? We could have done
Yes.
on and on, because you have to ensure the functionality is working in each of the devices, each of the operating system, and all this the desktop browser, mobile browser. It is you, the quality assurance, the core responsibility to ensure application is working. The team will be holding you responsible if it is not working. That's the reason when you estimate, you can give like, well, it takes 5 hours for me. It looks like simple, but it takes 5 hours because you have to create the documentation and all the good thing. You have to stand because you have to go through the details testing. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Now let's jump again in our test plan.
Yep.
So now I want to configure this test case. I want to configure this test case for, like, I want to assign here the configuration which I have made right now. I'll assign it, save. Now I want to execute this one. So
Yep, so you come to the
for
execute.
web application. Yes. So yes, I can see. And
all the steps
you
we
can
have
see, right?
written, all the steps we have written, and all the like the test configuration, everything will be showing test data steps. Anything you have done, everything is showing very visually, looking good, looking nice, right? So the more test data, more testing you write, the good English you write, the other people can understand it is very important. Before stay here. So the one of the best practices, remember the peer review you saw on the project management. Well, here is the peer review. Try not to execute your test cases. This is a bad practice. Why?
Okay.
Because somehow you develop these test cases, 90% of the time you'll not be able to catch the bug. And that's where the peer review come to the picture. What happened? So another QA, a project at least minimum should have a 2 QA. In case you don't have it, no problem. But the best practice 2 QA. So other QA will be executing your test cases. So it means they learn the same process with you, they will be reviewing with you, and they will accurate your steps, and they have to become familiar with the flow, they have to become familiar with the user story. Why? Because if you do not do this, and if you are not able to catch the bug, and a bug is produced in the production, they will hold you accountable. That's the reason if you always go through the review process and peer review anything and everything you do. Unless you are one-man show, that's a different story. Okay, go ahead. So there is like the plus, the tick button and the close button. You can go all the way top. You can remember, you can do the steps like the tick mark. the single steps, or you can go all the way, pass or fail.
Yeah, so we can verify it from here, like I can.
But stay there, don't go there. So whenever you see this, an example, as a buyer, I want to navigate to the login page. What do? In the negative testing, you exactly read the steps and you exactly execute. It's very important. Okay? You open the browser and you read this and you type it and you see what happened with expected. You don't write it, it's a problem. When you do not see this, that's a problem. And then you go to the second steps and you go to the third steps. So this is the test plan exactly now the execution time. So you read the steps and you do the execute on the browser and exactly the browser you need. So now the question is, if you test it, of course you need to have the same operating system and the same browser. So in this case, what do? We do the two things. One is, well, if you are the QA, you are using the Windows computer, but this test you need to test on the Mac. And that's what we do. We have a labs. In the lab, we have the different type of computer, different type of the browser setup and everything else. So you just remote in that lab computer and you perform your testing. Because this will be an interview question. How you perform it? If I can ask you a question, while you have a test configuration, it is the Windows, Mac, and the Mac different version, Windows different version, and the Mac different browser, Windows different browser. How can you test it? See this simple question. Hey, answer is we have a lab. In this lab, different operating system is set up, different browser is set up. Whenever test execution, we actually log into the lab remotely. Remote browser, and then simple. Remote login, not a big deal. It's very easy. Okay. Don't worry about it. When you say the word, they know it. And then I perform the testing. And that's the interview answer. That's how they know you work or not. And that's how you cover the lab and you cover how actually we do perform the testing in the with the different browser, different operating system, and the different configuration. Okay, go. You guys do it. I just reminded you, so you have to do all this step by step to perform the testing. Go back to the Agile ALM.
Yes. So we can verify from our website that every step is working properly or not. And after verifying, we are going to, if it's passed, then we are going to pass the test. And if it's failed, we are going to fail the test. So
Yes.
as for now, all the steps are working well. So I'm giving the status as pass test. And after doing it, I'm going to save and close it.
I do not see.
Yeah.
Okay, I do not see your Agile ALM. You're on the staging, right? Okay, good. We see only the staging environment browser.
Are you able to see the Agile ALM now?
No.
Okay. Maybe some internet issue.
You can stop the sharing and reshare
Okay,
again.
again, I'll reshare it. Can you see now?
It is 3, 2, 1. Yes, I can see now. Test plan, test suite. Yes.
Okay. So what I did, I went there, I run the application, and all steps are doing well. I checked all of it before. So I put the status as pass test and save and close it. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going for the test runs. So you can see it's completed. I'm clicking here. Okay, it's showing me pass.
Yeah. So
And
the
now,
test cases, so
yes.
that's how we create the test matrix. Okay.
Yes.
So once you have 100 test cases, how you do or know all of this? Manual testing, if you use the Excel documents, you have to do a lot of that other thing. But here you wrote the 50 test cases and the 20 test case executed and 10 test cases fail and the 5 test cases not applicable. 5 test cases need to be updated. 5 test cases blocked. Everything will be showing here because in each of the test cases, you actually executed properly. And that's how actually you create the report. And this report is valid for you all the time.
Test results. Past, like user test, configuration is web app configuration, test case ID, and who tested it is showing the title and is showing the status as pass. Okay, this is all for our manual testing portion, and now we will be moved to our Postman